everybody, I'm Josh, and welcome to another episode of Just Saying. Thank you. On the show this week, join me as we begin a new monthly holiday, and it's one that's going to make you want to clean out that craft room. Sit back and relax, because I got a lot to say. That's right, everybody. According to our friends at holidayinsights.com, March is crafting month. And I know that crafting can be a hobby. And so in order to distinguish the two, I went online and I Googled the definition of crafting. And according to Google, the definition of crafting is an activity involving skill in making things by hand. So everything we talk about this month is going to be stuff that is going to be made by hand. Just because I didn't want to bring all the hobby stuff back in. You know, I didn't want to try and duplicate what we did in January, even though it was only 2 months long. So today we are going to consider something that I like to call an art form, and I know many other people do as well, until you get old and your skin starts to sag. That's right, we're talking about tattoos. And yes, I think tattoos are very attractive. And I totally lost my train of thought talking about tattoos. Anyway, no. So yeah, I think tattoos are attractive, but me myself, I would never get one. First of all, I want to say that the people that do tattoos are a talent above many talents. I can't draw a stick figure, let alone draw a stick figure with something perfectly straight, with something that's, well, I can't do anything perfectly straight, but with something that's vibrating. That did not come out right. Anyway, I remember when we were growing up, there was a cool novelty pen that you could make vibrate as you were writing, and it made cool designs. I couldn't do anything with that thing. I'm just going to skip that whole conversation and move right along. Because it's just going to go downhill quick. But yeah, no, I would never personally get a tattoo. I was an EMT. I can poke people with needles all day long, but one coming at me, no. I remember growing up, and this is a story we still tell at the dinner table, holiday dinner tables, to my nephews. And it's just funny. It shows how big of an idiot I was growing up. Or still am, I guess. So my mom growing up was a nurse, and she worked for an independent doctor back in the day before hospitals owned all the doctor's offices, or 99% of the doctor's offices. And so when we would go pick her up after work, to go out to eat or something, she would normally be outside waiting for us. And it was a special thing if we were going out to eat, because my dad was a farmer. He worked a lot late at night, until late at night, I should say. And so anytime that we would go pick up my mom and she was waiting outside, she'd just get in the van and we'd leave. Yeah, that's right. We had an Astro van. Anyway, I can still remember that thing. Anyway, sorry. Tattoos again. But no, we get to her office, and we were always excited when it was closed and we were able to go inside, because as kids, we'd like to play doctor. And hello, we were in a doctor's office. Perfect place to play doctor, right? So, however, like I said, if my mom was outside waiting, she'd get in the van, we'd leave. We get there, and she was waiting outside, I think smoking a cigarette, and we pull in and we hop out of the car, and my mom's like, come on in, come in. And something just didn't sit right with me. And all of a sudden it dawned on me, oh shit, we're getting flu shots. So I scream, I start bawling my eyes out, I hop back inside the van, I lock the doors of the van, and what kid would think of doing that? Anyway, stupidly, I forgot that my dad had the keys, so he just unlocked the door, and I was hungry, and we were going to eat. But anyway, so yeah, that's my embarrassing shot story. And there was one time I was an EMT, and I went in to the ER for abdominal pain, and I would not, even though I knew and worked with all the nurses, I would not let any of them do my IV. I was like, nope, give it to my mom. She's doing my IV. Like, I cannot do needles. No. And if I get a shot, like, if there's no option and I have to have a shot, I'm just like, okay, don't. Because sometimes they're like, okay, 1, 2, 3, and then they stick. Well, back in the day, and I'm starting to ramble here, but back in the day, I had my cartilage pierced. And long story short, it got infected. I had to take it out. I was allergic to metal. The stud was fine. It was fine when I had the stud in, and then I changed it, and it got infected. So I think I was allergic to the metal. But anyway, and the lady, I'm getting my ear pierced, my cartilage pierced, and she's like, okay, I'm going to count to 3. I'm going to do it on 3. 1, 2, click. And she did it. And I'm like, hey, you didn't count to 3. She goes, and what would you have done when I got to 3? You would have tensed up. Well, so anytime I go get a shot now, I'm just like, don't even count, don't do it. Don't tell me when it's coming, just do it. That way I can't clench up, I can't think about it. By the time I think about it, it's over. A little thought for you guys if you are afraid of needles. And let me tell you, in 2019, back when I was in the hospital, the lady, I was on the floor, and the lady, she's like, oh, I'm the only one on the floor that knows how to do an IV perfectly. I've never missed one. Yeah, she missed 5 on 2 on one hand, 3 on the other, before on the 6th time she actually got it. And then there was another time where I cut my thumb. I was at work cutting lettuce, and I cut my thumb, and it was like I cut part of my fingernail. And I apologize if you guys are squeamish, but I cut my part of my thumbnail as I was doing it, and so I sent me to the ER. I had to get a couple stitches put in, and even though they had numbed my thumb, I'm kind of squeamish thinking about it. They had to hook through my thumbnail, and the whole idea of seeing something bulging out of my thumbnail is just creepy, and it hurt like a bitch. She gets done, she ties it. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not tight enough. I have to redo it. Yeah. She pulled it back through and then did it again. What? Anyway, we're going to move right along. And it's time now for another cheesy monologue. For the record, I went, as usual, to latenightLOL.com. In the search bar, I typed craft. And here we go. The economics professor who helped craft President Obama's healthcare plan is now going to explain that plan in a comic book. In a related story, President Bush has now come out in favor of Obama's healthcare plan. One Republican down, many more to go. The Miller Coors Brewing Company is being sued for labeling Blue Moon as a, quote, craft beer, end quote. Meanwhile, Budweiser is being sued for labeling Bud Light as beer. NASA is now considering a much smaller spacecraft to replace the current space shuttle, and it's being described as a space taxi. NASA says that the space taxi can do anything that the space shuttle does, except pick you up if you're black. You're just going to be like George Clooney in that movie and float around space forever. I can just imagine, I can imagine pictures from space where people are like doing the hitchhiking sign. Anyway. It's time now for my joke of the week. It's a good one. Here we go. Sportscaster Jim Rome has angered marching bands all across the country after calling them dorks on Twitter. Marching bands are currently crafting a reply, but it's taking them forever to spell it out. Martha Stewart is currently in Haiti, studying the Haitians' local handcrafts. Martha said that the craft makers, quote, told the craft makers, quote, it's beautiful, completely inspired, and you're doing it all wrong. You have to soak them in tea leaves. A new report says that America's fast food restaurants are seeking alternatives to the term fast food. So far, the leading choices are fast crafted, fine fat, fine casual, and trust us, it's meat. There's a new app that let's try that again. There's a new app out that turns your texts into lines from Shakespeare. The most popular one used for booty calls is Art Thou Up? An Italian art historian is claiming that the Mona Lisa is actually a portrait of Leonardo da Vinci's male lover. Experts say that this would explain the painting's original title, The Mona Larry. According to a new survey, fewer than 2% of hiring managers said that they were currently recruiting graduates with a liberal arts degree. Said liberal arts graduates, latte for Karen? And I'm sorry, your name is Karen. Have you seen that commercial? It's hilarious. It's an M&M's commercial. She walks up to this lady, I'm sorry for calling you Karen. And the lady's like, that's my name. And then she hands her another bag of M&Ms and said, I'm sorry, your name is Karen. You have to see it. It's funny. Made me want to buy some M&Ms. Anyway, New York's Museum of Modern Art has acquired the first known set of 176 emojis. However, not to be outdone, in Italy, they've replaced the Michelangelo's David with a giant eggplant. Now you should be good. Here's this week's point to ponder. Do cows gather to be heard? And finally, actor Shia LaBeouf has started hitchhiking around Colorado as part of a performance art piece that he is calling #TakeMeAnywhere. Unfortunately for LaBeouf, everyone just keeps taking him back to the airport. Gotta take it as a sign, bro. So, I know that in my next segment, the things are called Handyman Fails, but they're not really a craft. So we're not celebrating Craft Month in this segment. Nope, we're going to take a look at some Handyman Fails in a segment I like to call What's Wrong Here? Okay, so I have a friend whose dad is an electrician. And I really hope my friend watches this and sees this next picture because I think that she would be very cringing right now. Hold on. Be ready. That's right. It's an outlet literally screwed into another outlet. To me, that says fire. It's amazing what shortcuts people have done. Like this one. You don't need new pipes. Duct tape does it. It fixes everything. It's got a light side, a dark side, and it holds the universe together. It's like the Force. If you don't have enough tubing, they make more tubing. Ay. And, okay. If you were in a public place, restaurant, gas station, movie theater, wherever, and you went into the bathroom, which me personally, I don't like going to the bathroom in public places, unless I'm there all the time. For example, hockey games. I'm there all the time, or I used to be there all the time, so. Anyway, and you saw this as your stall lock, I'd be a little creeped out. It's a butter knife. But hey, it's actually a smart idea. We can't afford to buy a new one. So here's a butter knife. I can get 3 of them for $1. I have my parents my dad is a very handyman man. He knows if you have a question about something, my dad 99.2% of the time has an answer to it. But don't ever ask him to help you with your math homework, especially if it's algebra, because he has to know why something is the way it is. Like if A plus B equals C, he wants to know why that is. What's B? Why does it have to equal C? Anyway. But throughout, when we moved to the town that we live in, we bought, it was literally a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, half-bath house, I think, that had 1 bathroom in it with a bathtub, not a shower, a bathtub. Holes in the wall. I mean, we bought the house, I think, for less than $30,000. And by the time my parents turned around and sold it many, many years later, they got like quadruple what they bought the house for. Because throughout living there, we added literally another house onto the house. We added 2 family rooms, more of like a loft room, an office, a bedroom, a 3-car garage. I mean, they doubled the amount of space for that house. So, and 90% of it was done by my dad. But yeah, so my dad would never have done something like this. But it always makes you think about those movies where you open the door and nothing's there. Well, under this door is just a kind of a hard fall. I'm not the most brilliant man in the world. I've never proclaimed to be the sharpest knife in the drawer or the brightest bulb of the box. But I know better than to cut wood like this. It's gonna kick back, sir. Because I guarantee you're not holding it tight enough. No matter what you think you got there. Again, don't claim to be a rocket scientist. Don't claim to be Sheldon Cooper. But I claim to be smarter than these people. Something about that just screams, call 911 have 911 on speed dial. Dial the 9 and the 1 and wait for the other 1. And I understand going to other countries, they have different wattage and electrical system, and that sometimes this item can't plug into things in Europe, into the outlets there, or in Asia. And I don't know anything about electrical work. I know not to touch the ground, not to be in water. I know that general stuff. Is this safe? Please write in and let me know. This person, I kind of want to say, is very not brilliant, but I don't even want to say crafty. They're very imaginative on how to fix things. But I'm not sure if I would use this toilet. Maybe there just wouldn't be the splashback you get. Now, I'm not rich. I struggle. I would still never do this. Can't afford a new faucet handle? Just use your keys. Why not? It's the same item, right? Right. So next, nope. Not starting the crafting month yet. I thought it would be funnier if we took a look at some hilarious police blotters in the segment I like to call Here Come the Popo. I'm sorry. Let me take a drink really quick. It's a 1.5 liter for $1. Anyway. All right, first up, here we go. Police blotter, a man in the 1100 block of Maitland Drive, reported that a bus driver forced her 9-year-old nephew's head toward his buttocks and then passed gas. That's a correct terminology for the word assault. Not funny? No? Okay. Well, here's the next one. Suspicious activity. Officers responded to a report of a suspicious vehicle parked at a closed business just before midnight at the 23300 block of County Road 10. They found a 36-year-old woman in the vehicle who said she needed some peace and quiet away from her kids. The officer let her off with a warning and 5 minutes in timeout. Thank you. I'm getting arrested for wanting peace and quiet, honey. I'm going to have to go live with hardened criminals instead of you and my children. Next up, 5:38 p.m., Madison Road, Parkman. 2 people are in the caller's home doing drugs. The dog has been removed and the caller is at the BP in Parkman. Caller said that it is marijuana and they do not need a squad. Caller is giving us permission to go in the house through the deck at the back of the house, go through the kitchen. They are in the bedroom, off the living room, by the couch. Do not go past the rebel flag. Caller does not want them back on the back of the property. It's pretty specific. Now, if I were a cop and someone told me not to go somewhere, I would go somewhere. Just so, yeah. It's not suspicious at all. Disturbing the peace, a woman called in to report that her neighbors in the 19500 block of Pompano Lane were making noise. And because it was 3 a.m., she wanted it stopped. She was informed that it was, in fact, 3 p.m. This next one is another example of assault. Farting boyfriend causes neighbors to call police. A concerned neighbor in a living in an apartment alone, Maple Road, just west of Livernois Road, called the police after hearing what she thought was a domestic violence issue. The neighbor police said, thought she could hear the female yelling stop and no. That's what I would say if someone was farting in my presence. Stop. I understand it's natural, nothing you can do about it. But still. Anyway. A man in the 1400 block of East Bonavie Terrace in Bel Air told police on May 16th him and his friends were playing beer pong in the garage near Aldino Road when one of them accidentally shot him in the forehead with an air pump gun. Those are some die-hard beer pong people. Just saying. Or maybe they were playing the other group was playing Russian roulette. If you got shot with a BB, you had to take a drink. A caller, I guess I should hit transition, huh? A caller on Willow Avenue reported a suspicious baggie at the bottom of a telephone pole. Officers report the suspicious baggie contained a cookie. Chocolate chip. With raisins. That's what the crime was. A 34-year-old Mount Pleasant man was arrested Wednesday and lodged at the Isabella County Jail for domestic assault for pulling the arm of a woman, hitting her in the head with a sub sandwich. It was a foot long. Had he only done a 6-inch, would have been less time. Or maybe it was a 6-inch and he claimed it was a foot long. Because men like to over-exaggerate things. Next up, trespassing reported on Grandview Terrace. In South Salem, caller reported that she thought her drunk neighbor was playing music in her garage. The officer found that it was the caller's husband in the garage and that the caller did not know her husband was home. And finally, a resident reported a number of bras hanging from trees in the 8900 block of North Lake Terrace at 6:50 a.m. August 24th. There was also a sign reading, "Hope you had an uplifting vacation." Whatevs. All right, it is officially time to begin our monthly series on crafting. And today, like I said, we're going to take a look at some tattoos. And though I will admit tattoo artists have a special knack for artistic abilities, because as I stated, I can't draw a stick figure, let alone while it was with a vibrating tattoo gun on someone's body permanently. However, not all tattoo artists are great in the way of grammar or spelling. And it's time to take a look at some always permanent tattoos in this week's edition of The Things You Can't Unsee. Hey, I've said I'm a fan of tattoos. Some people with face tattoos look good. Other people, which are 99%, look like idiots. And this person just looks like a big... I'm not sure that's one he's going to like having when he's 84. Okay. I'm not sure if the person who got this tattoo was drunk or if the tattooed artist was drunk. However, you know in English class they tell you never do double negatives? Who said that this was right? Don't give up. So give up! Okay, this person who has this tattoo may be awesome, but the artist was not. It looks like, I see, and I don't like that font because the M and the W look weird. I don't know, but I'm just going to show you this one. You may be too cool for school, but I think you need to go back. How did you pass first grade? Now, I'm showing you this next one. Not because it's cool. Well, I'm showing it to you because it's cool. And because of this, not just because of that though, but because the talent of this tattoo artist, whoever did this tattoo. It's amazing. I didn't even know when I first saw this, but the ink pen behind his ear is actually the tattoo. It is actually a tattoo. The shadowing of the tattoo, of the pen, yeah, it's a tattoo. How can you not consider this artist an art? You know, how can you not consider these people artists when you see artwork like that? I've never said they ever majored in English or grammar, because They always say nothing lasts forever except a tattoo that's spelled wrong. Nothing lasts forever. Yeah, it does. And that's one of them. I'm hoping that these are someone's initials, or they're just giving everybody a warning that they may have an STD. Hey, at least it didn't say I have gonorrhea. It's a surprise as to which one they have and which one you'll get. Now, I've been to high school. I went to prom my freshman year. I had two girls fighting over me. Shocker, I know. And then senior year, obviously I went. My junior year, I didn't go because I worked at a restaurant with people who were seniors who wanted to go to the prom their senior year, and so I worked for them and volunteered to do that. But I've never heard of a prom queen. Maybe it's German? I don't know. And I show you this one because of two reasons. One, the person's attractive. Two, because just like the tattoo says, ledge ends, live on. Though I like tattoos, I want to heed this warning. They last forever. And if not, it costs bazillions of dollars to get them lasered off. Because you have to have like 5 treatments or something. And then you have to go back in a couple years later because that starts to fade or something. I don't know. Anyway. Or you can just have a skin transplant. I don't know if they do that, but whatevs. So it's official. It is time. I'm sorry. Let's try that again. It is official. Our crafting month has begun, and it will take us until the end of the season to finish this. I love looking back at segments, and it reminded me that when I started the show, I like to do Handyman Fails, and I hope to do that more while incorporating some new, fresh ideas. So if there's something you would like to share on, or you find that you want me to share, or you have an idea for the show, please, there's my social media accounts. Please let me know how I'm doing. Also, would you do me a favor, and while you're watching this, just go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and get the notifications anytime I post a new video, especially like my Taser versuses. That's just how I'm going to say it from now on. Taser versuses. Who's actually over there sleeping right now? Can you hear her? So proud of my dog snoring. Anyway. Don't forget to check out the new month, Small Business of the Month, and be sure to shop locally in your area. Also, thank you to our season sponsors, American Food and Liquor Mart. Now comes the end of the show. So until next week, everybody, that's all I'm saying.